What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, it's your girl Shy Gemini, and I am back with another review for Queen Sugar. This is actually episode 3 of season 3. So let's get started. But before we do, please click that thumbs up button. Also, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that bell so that when I drop a video, you'll get notification that it's out. Boom. You don't even have to look for it. It'll just pop up like Shy Gemini has posted a video. So make it easy for yourself, you know? But anyway, so the episode of Queen Sugar starts with Micah in his bedroom. He's getting ready. He's excited about his first day in public school. And when they pan down to his shoes, I'm like, are those Yeezys, Micah? Are you really going to wear $1,000 shoes to public school? Really? I think they were Yeezys. They look like them. They were ugly. I hate those shoes. But yeah, I'm like, okay, is he really gonna wear Yeezys to school? But he's getting ready. Charlie comes in like, look, I need you to reassure me that you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. You know, you're gonna focus and you're gonna continue to get good grades. And he's like, yes, I am. Don't worry. I always got all A's. Like, I will be fine. So she said, all right now. But the minute you start screwing up, Micah, she gonna pull that ass out. So you better keep your promise. Anyway, Nova speaks to her agent on the phone. I mean, on the video chat. It wasn't the phone. And her agent's like, yeah, I heard about what happened at the news paper at the headquarters or whatever at your job. And I wish you would have talked to me before you did it. Because now, with you not being there anymore, we have no rights to none of the articles that you've written. They all belong to the News Herald or whatever it's called. So we have to actually completely scratch that out of the idea with the book. Nova's sitting there like, damn, I really fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, you did. So now they're back at the drawing board. They have to figure out what exactly they're going to do. What is she going to write about? And they just like, look, I'm going to give you a little time. Get yourself together. You know, you come back with your ideas. Boom. I'm sure you can do it, though. I'm sure you can come up with a great idea. And Nova's looking like, yeah. So Nova, you probably should have talked to your agent, because I didn't think about that too, that she didn't own the rights to those articles. So yeah, you should have thought about that. But I'm sure Nova will figure it out. We have Ralph Angel. He leaves work, and as he's leaving work, he gets another call from Darla. He sent that shit right to voicemail because Blue wasn't in the same area with him, so it really is no need for him to answer. You know he don't mess with Darla like that, so he didn't answer. So one of the ladies came finding ways to spend that money. It's burning a hole in his pocket. He can't hold it. So now he's just looking for any and everything to waste the money and spend money on. Vi walks in as the guy that he's talking to is walking out. And he tells Vi, you know, I want to open up a barbershop. And she's like, what? And I'm sitting there like, Hollywood, you need to sit on that money and stop trying to spend all that money before it's gone. Because you're going to look up and you're going to be like, damn, what did I do with it? She was like, you better stop spending that money. And he was like, oh, I ain't worried about it. And he said, matter of fact, I want to buy you some red bottoms for this class reunion that we going to. And this Hollywood's class reunion. She like, child, you know, Hollywood, his heart is in the right place and everything. But I got to just, I really believe he's going to burn through that money fast. So, but in the meantime, well, in the process of them talking, he really makes it official and pulls out a ring, and it's Vi's engagement ring, and it's in the shape of that, famous New Orleans symbol that we see. If you've been to New Orleans and you're familiar, you know what the symbol is. So he gives her her engagement ring. It's a cute ring. I wouldn't want it as an engagement ring, but it's cute. So they make it official. She's waving it around. She's happy. So if she like it, I love it. Ralph Angel brings another hood rat chick to the house. It's different from the first girl. They getting ready to get it on. And this time he actually had the decency to bring her in the house. And I'm like, oh, Ralph, you're such a gentleman. You ain't take her in the back of the shed like you did the last girl. You actually brought her in the house. She must be special. So they're in the house. And I can't remember if they were actually, well, I don't know if they were actually getting done or if they were about to start. But Blue, of course, wakes up. He's trying to get Ralph's attention. Ralph sees him, picks him up, takes him back in the room. So I hope they was done doing what they was doing, because that would have ruined it for me. But anyway, Micah and Kiki are walking through the school. Micah's, you could tell he's taking it all in. He's looking around. He's seeing a different environment. I'm sure it's much different from what he's used to as far as private school. They probably walk around all sedity and proper like, and public school is definitely different from that. So he's taking it in though. I got mixed feelings. I don't know how he's gonna fare, honestly. But he seems like he's adjusting to being around black people, and that's a terrible thing to say, but I don't think he had the opportunity to be around a lot of black people, so he's actually adjusting to it, and he's really liking it. But we go over to Ralph Angel again, and he meets with the guy that his parole officer, well, one of them that the parole officer told him about for an interview. Two strikes already against this guy. He's late, and then when he gets there, Ralph finds out he has no experience with farming. So Ralph gives him the classic line, like, don't call me, I'll call you. So he leaves, and then we show Charlie, and she's meeting with one of the farmers. They come to tell her that they actually have to break their contract and they have to give up their land, and the land actually belongs to the Landrys. And I'm like, see, that's going to be the kicker right there. The Landrys probably own a lot of the land that the farmers are using, so they can screw them in that way. That no matter what Charlie does, I feel like the Landrys are always going to be 2 steps ahead. So that's why I don't believe in this plan that she has, and Nova doesn't either. And we'll get to that part. But yeah, so Charlie was generous enough to actually tell him, like, okay, I understand you guys are good people. I know you're breaking your contract, but I will waive the penalties and you won't have any fines or anything. So, that's taken care of. They're thankful, and they're like, oh, so thank you so much. You're like your dad. He was a good man. You're just like him. And you can tell that guilt of what's really going on is starting to affect Charlie, and it made her feel bad in that moment. So I don't know, Charlie. I don't know if you're going to be able to keep this up, because yeah, you're cutthroat to a certain degree, but I don't think when it comes to deceiving your own people, even though it's for a good cause, I don't know if you're built for this. So hopefully it will go in your favor eventually. But the next scene, we have Ralph and Nova meeting for lunch or whatever, and they're talking about the interview, and Ralph is talking about how he's basically maybe not a good fit because he was late and he didn't know anything about farming. And he was just talking about the guy, and Nova's like, reminds me of somebody I know. And yeah, Ralph, you wasn't the model worker or anything when you first started, so you shouldn't really be trying to judge this guy. So he was sitting there like, yeah, you're right, or whatever. Nova's talking about the book, and Ralph, they're talking about how that's gonna go, and he's pumping her up like you can do it or whatever. So then while they're sitting there talking, again another farmer walks up to Ralph and thanks Ralph for them doing business with them and getting the landries off of their back, because I'm assuming they were assholes in the past to the farmers, but now they're kind of just letting them be and leaving them alone. So yeah, um, she says she loves doing business with them. So, she's happy. When they get done, Ralph sits back down, talks to Nova, and Nova was like, what did Charlie do to get Landrys to not bother the farmers anymore? Like, what did he do exactly? And Nova, she's pushy, and Ralph, like, if you keep pushing him, his mouth's gonna run like a faucet. So they cut from that scene, so you can pretty much tell Ralph probably spilled the beans about what was really going on. But Micah back at school sees the kids that kneeled at the game, and he sits down with them. Then his girlfriend sits down, Kiki. Now, when you first see Kiki, she kind of looked like, why are you sitting over here with them? But then as she sat down, it was like she knew who they were and she was cool with them. So they were talking, and they were talking about riding the ATV or whatever, and they were going to meet later. And Micah said, yeah, he's down or whatever. They're going to meet later to ride the ATV. So while they're sitting there, a white security guard, comes up and tells the boy, get off the table, because he was sitting on the table. He gets off the table. They mean mug each other. Those kids, I think they have the right intentions, but they're going to keep Micah in trouble if he decides to be friends with them, because they're very militant and like for the cause. And I feel like they're by any means necessary type of kids. Like, they're willing to get arrested. And Micah, you're not built for that. You're not about that life. So you need to think about what you get into before you actually do it. But family is over at Vi's house, everybody. So as they're sitting down talking, Nova just comes out and asks Charlie, like, are you doing business with the Landrys? And everybody was sitting there looking, and Ralph looking, and she was like, yes, she had to admit that she had to sell the mill, but she still has 1%. Of course, Nova don't give a damn if she got 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. She don't like it. She felt like that they were selling out and they're messing with their legacy, and they're not down with it. Vi ain't either, nor Hollywood. And even when Hollywood tried to chime in, he was like, I know I'm not a borderline, but that's not cool. And Charlie was like, you're right, you're not a borderline. And Vi checked it like, hold on, he's family. So Charlie is like, look, I'm doing it for a good cause. It's for a good reason, to save the legacy. And Nova was like, this is not a game that you can win. She said, I'm not trying to play any more games. I'm trying to stop the games. And I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. But again, Charlie, I myself don't think this is a great idea. So you might want to back out of it, but it's too late now. You've already signed a contract with the Landry, so it's nothing you can really do about it. So when she goes to get up to leave, she like, Michael, let's go. And he was standing there like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here with my family. And she looking like, oh, okay. So she leaves. And now the family's mad at Charlie. But again, we know her heart was in the right mind. I mean, in the right place. Lord have mercy. I think I'm tired. But anyway, Ralph and Blue are in the car because Ralph is going to pick up his check. So Darla calls, and again, she goes to start talking to Ralph, and he was like, hey, I got to pick up my check. Here's Blue. He gets out the car, and he gets his check from this young lady who I believe, it's a family business. So it's one of the sisters that came into town. She gives him his check, And they start getting a little googly eyed and talking and getting to know each other and getting chatty. And I'm like, oh, okay. So are they going to try to make this person Ralph's new love interest? Because they definitely were like, I mean, I wouldn't say they're like super googly eyed, but they were definitely, I think, intrigued with each other. So we'll see. Again, I feel like Ralph don't need no distractions. He don't need nobody right now. So Vi and Hollywood is at this reunion, and they are talking to Hollywood's old classmates about wedding plans and just laughing and having a good time. And this old thirsty broad, her name is Charmaine, walks up talking about, oh, there's my high school sweetheart, and she hugging and kissing on Hollywood. And Vi was cool, you know. Vi is an older seasoned woman. Older seasoned women don't act a fool. It be us young ones like, who the fuck is this? So Vi was cool, and you know they talking, and I'm like, this chick is really gonna get on my nerves, and I can really tell it. So we end that. We go back to Ralph and Charlie. Ralph is basically, you know, on Charlie's side. He's still down with what she's talking about doing. Cool. So Charlie is worried about Micah and if he will hate her or not. And Ralph says, everything you're doing for him and his legacy. And, you know, he reassured her, like, everything will be okay. Don't worry. I'm actually glad to see Charlie and Ralph get close. Because they were kind of, I feel like because Charlie didn't trust him and she kind of babied him, that kind of made them bump heads. But it seems like they're getting close in this season. So that was good to see she was able to lean on her little brother while Nova's ranting and raving by herself. Nova receives a check. I'm guessing it was her last check from the newspaper. And while she's there, she takes down all of her articles on, like, I guess it may have been like her, not vision board, but a board she uses to get her ideas and stuff together. So she takes all her ideas off, but she keeps her Ida B. Wells picture up there, basically to keep it empty for new ideas that she's going to be presenting. Ralph Angel is awakened to a loud noise, and so he goes and checks, and it's Blue. And what happened was Blue's drawer fell out the dresser because he was actually looking for some new pajamas. The boy didn't wet the bed. Now he's wetting the bed. Again, these are all things, I guess, that are triggering the changes that have happened in his life as far as his mom not being there. All of a sudden, you know, his parents were engaged, everything was fine, and then they slipped the rug from under him. So he's been basically wetting the bed, and he's been basically taking care of the sheets, taking the sheets off, changing sheets, changing his pajamas on his own. And that's what he actually woke up the night before to let Ralph know that he peed on himself. But he interrupted Ralph Angel's little tryst with the little girl. So, you know, I think Ralph Angel felt really bad about that and felt like maybe he's not being attentive enough to Blue. So kind of got him thinking. So we go back over to the reunion, and this is where I really got irritated. Hollywood X comes up to the table again, introduces herself, this time to Vi, because the first time she didn't even acknowledge Vi. Let's talk about that. She didn't even acknowledge her. She just walked up, talked to Hollywood, was kissing on him. So then she was like, yeah, I think I've seen you before. I think I met you when I was in high school. You're Hollywood's mom, right? And I'm looking like, bitch. Excuse me? If I was Vi, I would have like, excuse me? I'm his who? No, bitch, I'm his fiance. But again, Vi's seasoned. She been here for a while. She know how to handle the situation. So she was like, she just smiled. And Hollywood was like, no, this is my fiance. And she was looking stupid. But even after that, she proceeded to still be on some dumb shit. Oh, that's my song. The song come on. You want to dance? And I'm like, bitch, are you for real? You done already tried to try this woman and say that was his mother. Then you gonna ask this man to dance with you? And then gonna insult her even more and say, oh, you don't look a day over 25. Girl, if you don't get up and get the fuck on, move around. Like, that was so bogus. I would have had to slap the shit out of you. I honestly would have. You wouldn't have been able to get away with that with me. But they handled it real classy. That's actually the better way. Because they left that bitch sitting there looking stupid. Because he was like, no, I ain't going to do that. But I am going to dance with my fiance right here. And he got up and took back to the dance floor and started dancing. I'm like, yes, Hollywood, you better tell her. And you was sitting there looking stupid. And then their little friends got up and was like, they got a good kiki off of them treating her. Because they got up like, yes. You stupid bitch. I wish you would. I wish somebody would come up to me with some stuff like that. Like, for real, I'm his mother, right? Okay. But they handled it. So they dancing, having a good time. And then you can tell Val was having an episode. She was holding her hand. But anyway, Micah was hanging out with the kids on the ATV. And the girlfriend was riding. So while she was riding, they asked, why did you come to the school? And he basically explained, like he's always been explaining to his mom, everybody else, you know, he wanted to come and be with his people, basically. He wanted to get that experience, and he feels more in with them. He feels more at home with this crowd. So they are planning to get together again, and I don't know if it's protest or do something, maybe do a demonstration. But again, I want Micah to really understand what he's getting into with this crowd. And there's a possibility that he may end up being arrested again. That's all I'm saying. But we go to Vi. She's sitting by the pool, and Hollywood comes out to check on her. In the end, he's like, let's go. We can go home. So they left. I think he knew that she might have been in pain or something. But anyway, Micah goes over to Nova, and he talks about how he's upset with his mother, and he feels like she's selling out her people. And Nova tried to come to her defense because I think she felt guilty for going off and going in on Charlie in front of Micah, because now it's kind of influencing how he feels about his mother. So she tried to reassure Micah that she really is doing it and she has good intentions. Whether it be right or wrong, she has good intentions. So don't feel like that about your mom. So they're talking, and then he gives her the idea about, well, why don't you talk about the plight of black farmers and your experience with owning a farm and your family and stuff like that. So it kind of got the wheels of spinning in Nova's head, like, well, maybe I can talk about that. You know, we'll see. I still feel like she's going to be struggling to write this book, but hopefully she won't. Ralph is laying in the bed with Blue, and he gets a text. Looks at the text. It's old girl. She at the door. She ready for her dick appointment. But he came to the door like, nah, I can't be on that tonight. Blue ain't sleep. You know, I gotta be on dad duty. And yeah, by the way, I probably won't be on that for a while. So you're gonna have to find some dick somewhere else. Sorry, sis. But she seemed like she was cool, like, you know.